Hello everyone, Ridgeview. Just wanted to make a quick follow-up video. I don't think I'm going to be making many Phasma videos at all. I just wanted to show you a very easy, simple way of being able to find out what the ghost is without any of the risk of using smudge stick and forcing a hunt. You can pretty much guarantee what the ghost is going to be based on entering the house twice. So at the beginning of the game you enter once, you do a little bit of evidence, you come out, you grab some more stuff, you go back in. That's all you need to do. I guarantee you will find out what the ghost is based on that. A couple of things in this game worth noting. I think that they might be redesigning the T1 dots, so this might not be relevant in the future. The T1 dot seems to be confusing everyone. I'm going to try to give you a good explanation of the T1 dots in this video, so long as it doesn't appear in a fucking tiny room or within a huge room. Dots of this nature, it needs a specific environment for you to be able to utilize it properly. And I think this is specifically the reason why people are not understanding how the T1 dots really work. But either way, the T1 box, I think, has actually been confirmed as buggy. This, I'm sorry, but I'm not even going to attempt to show you T1 box. T2, you're going to have to get, if you can't get T2 yet because you're still new to the game, use the T1 EMF reader. The T1 EMF reader, I personally think, is brilliant. I love this thing. But at the same time, just use T3 if you haven't got T2 spirit box. The T1 thermometer apparently is being redesigned or changed or something. I don't know what they're doing with that. I'm going to show you that it's really powerful, but in the sense that it's powerful visually. It doesn't flat out tell you if it's a freezing temperature ghost, which is what the old thermometer used to do. They nerfed that into the ground. The T2 thermometer, I guess, is what they want from the game. If they want that, then they should just drop T1 completely and just have T2 and T3 as T1 and T2. But in terms of the visual feedback of the T1, I'm going to show you just how good it is. I'm going to use the basic UV light. It doesn't really matter what you use for the sake of this video. Try and get ghost orbs on this. The interference is only for static. So for instance, if a ghost causes static interference on the camera, it does not affect the ghost orb. So if you want to know if there's a ghost in that room with a ghost orb and you're not seeing it, but yet you know for a fact that that is the favorite room, it means that the ghost orbs are still bugged. I'm pretty sure that the devs have basically said that the ghost orb will appear in the ghost's favorite room. It used to be very buggy, the ghost orb. It used to appear anywhere. It could appear outside of the map, above the map, below it. It used to change rooms. It used to like roam like the ghost does now. That's not how ghost orbs work as far as I'm aware. The ghost orb should appear in its favorite room. If it doesn't, my experience is because that it's a banshee. I have found out that the ghost orb, for some bizarre fucking reason, doesn't appear in the favorite room if it's a banshee. It's the only ghost I've experienced this with so far. Maybe the bug's still lingering in some capacity. But if you go into the favorite room, you know it's the favorite room, and you're not seeing ghost orb, check rooms around just to tick off ghost orb. Don't just assume. So if you've ticked off a few evidences, but yet ghost orb is still potential, check both the favorite room and the rooms around, because the ghost orb is still a little bit buggy. But you only need to do that if it's particular ghosts. In my experience, it's a banshee. I haven't really experienced it with any other ghost yet, but I have experienced it with that, so I'm just giving you a public service announcement type thing. But either way, everything else is pretty meh. It doesn't matter what fucking settings. You're doing this for rewards, so you're going to have to change this based on what you want to be able to get your rewards up. This is all about finding the ghost through evidence. It's nothing to do with the rewards or anything like that. I'm just here to show and stipulate that. I do have the interaction and event frequency as low. This doesn't really affect the evidence gathering at all, but still, It just means that ghost knocking over cups or messing with the lights or something. That's what that means. That doesn't mean evidence. So let's get in. The T2 head-mounted camera is so fucking good. It's going to be your first goal. It's the one thing that you want to unlock first. Obviously, as you level up, other things will unlock, but that's your goal. That's what you should be aiming for. When you get to that, it's up to you if you still want to use like a ×10 modifier. I don't give a shit. But until you get that, and then you want to calm down and just play the game normally, you're going to have to settle with a flashlight. And if that's the case, you're more than likely going to have to go in with a flashlight, 2 pieces of gear, come back out, grab 2 more pieces, come back out, grab 2 more. So it's probably going to be 3 times that you go in and out. But in this particular case, because I've got the head-mounted light, I only need to enter the house twice. So I'm going in now, and then I'll come back out, grab some more, and then I'll go back in. So the first things I want to grab is the temperature, the UV, and the dots. Again, if you don't have the head-mounted light, then you're going to have to do 3 trips, not 2. So, first thing I do upon entering the property, if it's not a demon and it kills me instantly, is that I come over here and I wait for the temperature to normalize on the temperature gauge. It's very important that we get this temperature gauge to be at 20, which is the normalized temperature of the T1. You don't need to do this with the T2. You can skip this step with the T2. It's normalized. First thing I do is I just go into locations that I know where the ghost can be. This table is temperamental. It could be warm on one side, cold on the other. If it is cold on this side, but not over on that side, the temperature bug is still in this game, and it means that the temperature could be bleeding through the ceiling. So check upstairs. At the moment, we didn't get a temperature reduction here, so I know it's not above me. We go into the room, and we're just going to see if the temperature dips. If it does not dip, change, or do anything, you've ruled out that room entirely. The ghost cannot be in that room. I like to come into this room and just check. It is going down, meaning it's in here. I came in here to check for this. This is difficult now for dots. Dots has difficulty showing. I'm still recovering from a chest infection, so I apologize for the coughing. If it dips below 15, by the way, it means that you're in the ghost's favorite room. Simple as that. There is no reason for the temperature to go below 15 unless it's the favorite room. There is nothing else in the game unless the thermostat, whatever, is turned off that makes the temperature go below 15. If the lights are on and it's above 15, but it does not ever dip below 15, the ghost cannot be in that room. You are not in the correct location. But if the lights are on and it dips below 15, 100% the ghost room. You don't need to look anywhere else. That's where the ghost is. So, we're just going to put that down. What I was saying with dots is that it's very difficult in a large room to be able to use handheld dots correctly. It's really annoying, it's really frustrating, it's super fucking tedious to try to find out where the ghost is based on this. This is one of the reasons I think that most people are getting upset and annoyed with the dots tier 1, is that the ghost in such a large room can be fucking anywhere at any given time. And because dots are slow, like really slow at actually giving you dots feedback, and you never know if it is dots or not. You've literally got to take a guess. It's one of those that it does make you understand and realize that dots T1 does need to be modified in some capacity. At the moment, it can be frustrating for a lot of people. We know you're in this room. Leave the lights alone. If the lights flicker, by the way, but it doesn't do anything else, that means that the ghost is in that room. It's a guarantee. If the lights now flicker out in the hallway, I know the ghost has roamed outside and is no longer in this room. That's how you can use the lights to your advantage. The only way to really utilize dots in such a large room is to do what's known as, in terms of what I'm coining as, corridoring. You're shining the light in such a way, it's almost as if you're shining the light down a corridor. We know the ghost is in this room. We've got freezing breath. But the ghost cannot pass through solid objects. So if the ghost comes into this room, it's not going to pass through the car. So if the ghost is walking to, from, and around, it will walk around the vehicle, and it will walk either down there, or whatever. So we could do corridoring. We're going to push the dots in a specific direction in a corridor-like state, and we're going to sit and wait. If we don't get anything after a short amount of time, it still could be dots. I really do hate dots in such small rooms. It's really difficult to get it with handheld. If you was to use the actual dots on the floor, you get more of a coned area, and you get more of a better sort of understanding of the dots. But when it comes to stuff like this, it can be a little bit frustrating. The reason why I'm pointing it towards the door is the ghosts are more likely to interact with the box if they're walking next to it. The fuse box is in this room, and the ghost is more likely to turn off the lights, because obviously if it roams this way, then that. So we was corridoring by the door, it's not really working. So now I'm just going to stand in front of this car, and I'm going to try and corridor my way behind this car and towards me. So if the ghost is appearing in dots level 1, the handheld, the developers have made it so that the ghost will walk towards the person holding the dots. The frustrating thing about the dots with the handheld is that they don't have to walk into dots and then turn towards you. This is probably the reason why it sucks. Let's just say that the ghost is here walking back and forwards, right, and I'm here painting the dots here. The ghost could trigger a dot event and walk towards me here and then go back this way, right? But because I'm holding it, I'm never going to see the ghost walking this way because I'm facing this way. There you go. It walked towards me. It appeared exactly in the middle of the dots, and it walked towards me. I would argue that corridoring is the only fucking way that you can use the T1 dots. Don't walk around doing this shit going, is the ghost over there? Is it over there? You're never gonna get it to work. Corridoring is like the only fucking way you can get T1 dots to work. So we now have dots. The problem is it's not actually touching anything else, so I don't think I'm ever going to get fucking UV. Oh, interesting. This is probably not a freezing temp ghost. A huge tip when it comes to the temperature gauge on the T1. If you actually just look at it, you'll see that we're at 1 degree. 1 degree. It is not moving. Under any circumstance, it's not going towards 0, but it's not going above. It is literally now cemented at 1 degree. What this means is that it can never be freezing temp. And I'm going to stake this video on that. So I'm going to rule out freezing temp because of that. The temperature gauge, if it gets down to like 1 degree, normally means that it could be a freezing temp ghost. But because it's cemented at 1 degree, it's just not moving, it is not a freezing temp ghost. That's how powerful that actually is. So I can't test UV yet, and there's nothing else for me to do. So I'm going to go back out and grab some more stuff. A couple of things that we need to grab now. Well, let's have a look. Well, what can we rule out? Can we rule out that? No. Can we rule out UV? No. Can we rule out ghost writing? No. Spirit box? No. Ghost orb? No. We need something else. So we just have to grab things that we think that the ghost will do. Well, I love to use the spirit box. And with the spirit box, I love to use a certain technique to be able to get the ghost. The problem is, we're in such a large room. This might not work, but I'm going to do this for the sake of the video. I'm going to show you that the technique that I use to be able to get the spirit box to work. The reason why it works in small rooms is because you have the light turned off, and you have to have the light turned off, but only for a short amount of time. In a large room, you first have to find where the ghost is roaming in that room, and then use the spirit box. You don't want to turn the light off until you know where it's roaming. But the problem is, because it's such a large room, it will keep constantly changing its roaming sort of etiquette around the room, making it really fucking difficult to use the spirit box. And I think this is one of the largest reasons why people struggle to use the spirit box. In small rooms, it makes sense, but in large rooms, it is really fucking challenging. So for this video, I'm going to use the spirit box, but for you, I would recommend that you don't use the spirit box in such a large room. Rule something else out instead. So either grab the ghostwriting or grab the EMF. If it was a smaller room, I would say spirit box because it's easier to rule it out. I'm going to turn this light off. The less lights off, the better. The more lights off, the better, sorry. It still hasn't touched anything. It hasn't turned the light off. It's done nothing. So first, I'm just going to rule out ghost orbs. Turn the light off, and we're just going to look towards the back of the cars. Okay, we got a ghost orb. It's appearing here. You could just about see it. So we can do ghost orb. We know it's not freezing, but just untick. It cannot be mimic. So when you do this type of evidencing, always make sure that you're ruling out the mimic, because the ghost orb, oh, it turned it off. There you go. The ghost orb is a falsehood or a fake evidence if it's the mimic. So what would be the mimic? So spirit box and these. So if you get these two, and then you get ghost orb, like you actually see the ghost orb, it cannot be ghost orb, because obviously it's at that point it's a mimic. And which one would mimic be? It'd be freezing temps. Well, we've already ruled out freezing temps. So we know it's these two, we know it's dots, and we know it's ghost orb. The only thing it's turned off so far is the breaker. It hasn't touched anything else, which makes this really annoying. Like it hasn't even knocked these down. Ugh, it hasn't touched it. Oh, it touched the door down here. I think I'm a little bit too late for this now, though. It is touching that as well. Okay. It does seem to be more likely and active down this side of the room, so I'm just going to pop that there while I do my little experiment. So, again, corridoring. This is one thing that you want to do whilst trying to find out where the ghost is. So first, we just want to make sure where it's roaming. When you first place these down, turn them off, then turn them back on again. The reason being is because they can get stuck on, as if it's like it thinks that something's in front of it. It can turn itself off, but in some cases it'll stay turned on. Like it's now stay turned on. The reason why it turns off is because if you're standing in the path and then it turns off, the ghost walked in front of it. So we now know that the ghost is walking in front of this. So we just want to wait a sec, just to show and prove that I'm not the one setting it off. We just wait a sec. This is why I don't like doing this in large rooms, because it takes a while. The ghost free roams around. I mean, it could be roaming around like this. We'd have no idea. It moved it. So it is walking to and from here, which confirms it is walking to and from the doorway. So I'm just going to turn off the light. I'm going to stand next to it, and I'm going to wait. The moment I see that the light flickers, I will ask it a question. You might be waiting a long time because it is a larger room, don't forget. Where are you? Didn't reply immediately. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? That was beautiful. We saw it walk through the light, and we saw the dots at the same time. That, therefore, proves it's not Spirit Box. It's not broke, it's not bugged. The ghost was literally on top of us, and it didn't reply. So we can rule that out. Check the temperature. Still hasn't moved. It's stuck there. So we know it's not this. So now it's either EMF, ultraviolet, or ghostwriting. Now, we're in a large room, and it's barely touching anything. I honestly, like, I hate large rooms in this game, because it really doesn't work that well. Yeah. Just open a fucking door or do something. So I could check for UV. Please. You arselick. Apparently it can leave fingerprints on this, but only if it touches it. Of which it isn't. Because it is down here more than up there, I'm just going to wait here to see if it opens one of these. Oh, it's walking down here. Come on, open it. Open a door. Touch a door. Touch a door. Yay! It responded. Yay! It's a banshee. And that's basically how you play this game. With T1 equipment and stuff, apart from the T2 Spirit Box. But that's a good fucking video sort of proof of concept that you only have to enter the house basically twice. That's really difficult to do in large rooms, but again, remember corridoring. If you're using the T1 dots, zone the ghost. Oh, we got closer to hunting. Oh, we got an extra thing as well. So at this point, you probably could look at these things and try and get a bit of extra money. It's up to you. You've now found what the ghost is. You could look for the bone, do whatever. I'm just going to leave for the sake of the video. I'll do one more just to show you. I'll do the exact same thing that I did just, and if I have to corridor, I will corridor. It's as simple as that. Banshee! Okay. We will go onto the same map. So at that point, I probably would have chugged pills, tried to find the sanity pills. Try and find the sanity pills inside the house. Because they're drug lords. No, try and find the bone. Take a picture of it for extra money. I would have taken pictures of the handprints to get extra money. You know, simple things like that. The ghost being summoned here, that is particularly certain ghosts that do. There's quite a lot of ghosts in this game that are demons or demonesque. These are ghosts that would normally react to demon-esque items in terms of Spirit Box and stuff like Spirit Box. Get your words straight. In terms of like the Ouija board and stuff like that. But I have them off by default because I don't really like them. They mostly are just used for hunting. I don't really like hunting unless I've got no choice. But, yeah, I like to play for evidence. I play for evidence. There's too many people out there that play for ghosts in terms of the hunt. All the content creators and everything. If you want to know what it's like to hunt ghosts that way, go and fucking watch their content. You're not going to get that here. I'm here to show you evidence and how to use it properly. So again, we're waiting for the temperature to normalize before we do anything else. This also is a time when the demon might hunt us. We've just received a clue that there might actually be a demon in this house. So temperature is normalized, meaning it's not in here. We come to the table. Nope. Go to the other side of the table. Nope. Nope. Oh, we found the bone. I'm just going to pick it up. I like to just come in here and check if the fuse box is in here. It isn't. The ghost isn't in here. Thank Christ. Oh, don't be in the basement. Please be upstairs or something. What did I just hear? Thankfully, it's not in the basement. Could be in the living room then. Unless that noise was upstairs. Alright, well let's go upstairs. Actually, let's turn this one off so that we get an extra light upstairs. So we did hear something, we don't know where it was. It turned the light off, but it turned the light off during an event. So you have to understand that just because it turned the light off doesn't mean that, you know, it's ultraviolet. The event turned the light off, okay? So just remember that. Just thought I'd show you that as sort of the understanding and proof. Just because it did the event in the hallway doesn't mean it's a hallway ghost. We're not getting lower temperatures, meaning that it roamed into the hallway. We're getting roaming temperatures now. What about in here? Now, it needs to drop below 15 for me to know it's actually in here. Yeah, it's in here. Okay, it's in here. So, again, corridoring. Go as far away from the door as possible, but look towards the door. Because if it's going to roam back in the room, it'll roam into the room and it'll walk towards you. The great thing about the dots currently is that it is actually reaching the back of the wall. So we've got full coverage of the room. It's still out in the hallway, so we just have to wait a sec for it to come back in its room. It might not come back in the room because it is roaming. My roaming frequency is on high, so the ghost is going to be roaming all over the place before it might return back to its favorite room. So we're just going to wait a sec. We're also paying attention to another few things that's happening. We're hardly hearing anything, and it's not like turning the lights on and off. So it's a more passive ghost, let's just say. Which means shade, things like that. It does seem to be way more active out in the corridor, meaning that we might never actually see it in this room. So we might not get dots at all in this room. We're just going to wait a little bit longer. There's a few ghosts in the game that become less active if you're in their room. There we go. Let's just do this. There we go, UV. We got the ultraviolet. We know it's in the room because it just made the lights flicker. Well, we know it's in the room anyway because of the UV. The thing is, it walked to the window, or at least it came into the room, and we didn't see dots. It didn't trigger dots. So it walked in front of us into the room, didn't trigger dots, but it still touched the window. This could be a high indication that it is not dots. In fact, I don't think it's dots at all, but, you know, whatever. So we're just going to do corridoring again. We're just going to... It's probably best for me to do it on this side, actually. And we're going to face it towards the room door as well as the hallway in general. And we're just going to wait a sec. I don't think it's dots, in all fairness. If it is, then God knows. Should have triggered by now. It's in the room, so turn towards the door. It was flickering the light and then it touched the door. We're just going to wait a moment. This confirms it's not dots. Again, corridoring. Yeah, this is not dots. So we're just going to get rid of dots. To be certain, we know it roams outside of this room. So place it down, point towards the door. We think it's not dots at this point. It still could be. It's just being, you know, annoying. So place it down in a direction that you know the ghost is highly likely to roam. So let me just quickly test the temperature. Temperature is staying quite high. We need more evidence. So let's go back to the truck. Let's see what we can get. What is it likely to be? So at this point, you would think, what is it likely to be? Are we going to see ghost orbs? There's a lot of ghosts that it could be, and if we see ghost orb, it rules it out into 2. So it's actually quite unlikely to be a ghost orb. But I'm still going to take the camera in, because that's what I normally do. Spirit box. Ooh. Could be a mimic. This is interesting. If we now get spirit box reading and ghost orb, it has to be a mimic. Simple as. So we want to take in spirit box because it rules out quite a lot of ghosts. And if we can rule it out, it's even better. But if we do get ghost orb, spirit box. Okay, so that's decided what I'm going to do. In this particular case, I was going to take these things in anyway, but you as an investigator, you need to look at the evidence and see what potentially you could bring in. In this particular case, I think it is actually extremely beneficial to bring in this. So, we're just going to place it here. We know the ghost is in the room currently. Turn the light off, stand next to it and wait. The ghost touched the window, so we know it's in here. It might have just left the room, but that's okay. But we're still going to wait a sec. Did it just open a door? I think I timed it, like, wrong. I think it was just leaving as it touched the window. So I'm actually going to put this in the doorway. Turn it on and off just in case. We're just going to wait. Because I think it's currently in the corridor. Come on. It is in the corridor because it was flickering the light. It touched a door. We know it's out there. So it'll come back in the room any second. Stop it. Stop it. Stop doing your events. I'm trying to do stuff. Well, come on. Show yourself. Go through the door. Where are you? How old are you? Where are you? How old are you? Where are you? How old are you? Yep, not this. We're gonna rule that out. Ghost orb. Let's have a quick look for ghost orb. Not seeing ghost orb. Right, we know for a fact it's in here. And we're not seeing ghost orb, so we can rule that out. Oops. So let's see if we're a Jinn, demon, or a Myling. So, the only thing that we now can do is rule out freezing temps. And we can rule out freezing temps. Or can we? Yeah, we can rule out freezing temps. So what's left? Myling! We can rule out freezing temps. It's pretty much a given at this point that we can rule it out. The temperature actually went up, not down. So, for me, I think it's a Myling. Let's see how accurate we are. Again, it might still be freezing temps. It's the only thing that we can go on at this point, because a lot of people would look at that temperature thing and go, is it freezing temps or not? I can't tell. Come back out, grab some more evidence, go back in. You can still go back in with the EMF and the ghost writing, which is the last two things it could potentially be. We've ruled out everything else. It really can't be ghost orb or anything. We've checked. So the only thing it could still be is the freezing temp, and if it was, then it's either a demon or a Jinn, meaning that we need something else as evidence anyway. I personally think it's not freezing temps, but I'm gonna take a guess on a Myling. In this particular case, if I was playing the game properly, I probably would go back in with something else, because why not? Find the bone, take a few pictures, especially because I know it's ultraviolet. But we're going to take a chance on Myling, and it's a Myling. The temperature gauge, you just have to be very sort of aware of when it dips and how it dips. But there you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you sort of understand what it is that I'm getting at in terms of using all this stuff. Just use this video as a basis to understanding how to use the T1 stuff, specifically the dots, the T1 dots. Again, I know a lot of people are struggling with T1 dots, but you really shouldn't be. The only rooms that you are going to struggle with it is the large empty rooms. I can't help you with that, unfortunately. I used the car to my advantage in the first hunt because I knew that the ghost would have to pass behind it. The ghost cannot walk through the cars. It has to walk through paths that the player can walk through. Specifically, the reasons why is because of the hunt mechanic. If it could pass through the car, it doesn't matter if you're hiding behind the car, it'll just walk through the car and get you. Because it can't do that, its pathing stipulates that it has to walk in front of the car, and because it had to walk in front of it, I knew that I could corridor it. I could corridor its pathing. In terms of any other big rooms, such as, for instance, the fucking prison, good luck. Good luck trying to get dots, even on T2 dots. Good luck trying to get dots on those. I typically stay away from those maps because they're just too big. This game doesn't work with them. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. Especially the new ghosts, their design. You're in the dark way too much. If I was going to play on the large maps, I'd probably reduce the sanity drain from 100% to like 50% or something, instead of it being on 200. Just so that I can get the game to last longer, because the sanity drain on such a large map is so frustratingly annoying that yeah, like, you're gonna have to fudge with the settings. If you do want to make prison your favorite map, I would argue the situation that you should be putting your sanity drain on the lowest percentage so that it lasts longer. Just because of how fucking many rooms there are and how long you're going to be in the prison. The lighting is the only real way to get around it. I know the game wants you to use like a candle, but the candles in this game, they burn out too quickly. The handheld candles actually can now burn out. I honestly think that if they want to justify these large maps with no lights, that the only thing that the player can do is reduce the sanity drain to really small amounts, because the candles, they burn out. It's just, no. This is the only way that you can preserve your sanity. And like I say, I honestly do think that, especially with the Ascension update, with the way that monsters now hunt, depending on sanity, that having it drain too fast is annoying. So these tips and everything that I've showed you, use them on the smaller maps. Like these work on Grafton and stuff like that. Use the ghost pathing logic to your advantage to corridor with the T1 dots. But just try to get used to them. I think that there's nothing really wrong with the T1 dots. People just don't really know how to utilize them properly. And the moment you do, the moment you realize just how easy it is. Yeah. The game is a hit and miss, but in terms of new players that are getting put off because they think the game's now too difficult, it's not. The difficulty is the ghosts and how they hunt. I think that the one setting that you should be turning up to the maximum until you get used to the game is the grace period. This is the only thing that I think that you should be messing with in terms of, either making the game easier or hard. Everything else doesn't really matter, like the roam frequency, the interaction amount, it doesn't really matter. The one setting that makes a huge difference is the grace period. The problem with that is that the grace period is the one that affects your rewards the most. So if you have 0, it's 4 times, but if you put it on the highest, dips it down by quite a large amount. I have it on 2 just because I want the extra reward bonus, but still. The grace period above 2, it's up to you, but as a new player, if you're learning the game and you want to farm, I would highly recommend that you set this to 5. Yeah, it's less rewards, and it's going to take you a slightly bit longer to get your levels and stuff, but the hunting in this game is so obnoxiously annoying that this is the only setting that I think makes the largest difference. And the reason being is because I honestly do think that hiding in this game is probably the most useless fucking thing. I don't think having hidey holes at all is going to make any difference. The only other setting that I would recommend is changing the favorite room to none. That's the frequency that the ghost can change its favorite room. But I would recommend you change it to something higher if you want to play the game properly. If you're just trying to farm levels, set it to none so that you can actually get in, do the evidence, get out, get your rewards. But apart from that, thank you for watching. I hope now the game is going to be a little bit easier for you. But yeah, the game, it's either a hit or miss. It depends on how you like to play the game. I don't play it to hunt, I play it for evidence. But for the sake of the video, that is what you can do until you get T2 stuff. I don't think T1 is as crap as you think. Stay away from T1 Spirit box. Use EMF until you unlock T2. I'm pretty sure the devs have already established that there's something wrong with the T1 Spirit box. Yeah, that's a close, that's an ender. Stay away from T1 Spirit box. Until then, thank you for watching, take care, and use the tip for the Spirit box and the sound recorder, sound sensor, whatever you want to call it, to find out where the ghost is. Stand in the dark, stand near it, and if it starts to flicker, ask a question. It's as simple as that. Thank you, bye-bye. Look at this. Beautiful, man. Well, you gotta make it weird to end the video.